Okay, welcome back. Let's get into the next two sides then. So we've just assembled two parts together. Let's try and get this part over here assembled and this part here assembled in here as well, okay? So the first thing we're going to go is go to place, find the part that you want to put in. So I'm going to use the opposite side to the HDMI, which is up HDMI side of enclosure. And I'm just going to drag it over here and just going to click anywhere. Now, although it looks quite close, it's probably a million miles away depending on what view orientation you've got it in. So don't worry about trying to just drag it exactly into the correct position. It's never going to be exactly correct. So you need to click on constraint. Alright? It's really that's pretty much the only tool you'll use in this whole section for these basic drawings anyway, okay? So I'm going to click on the side here of that surface, and then I'm going to click in on that surface of that side, and I'm going to say that those two need to be coincident, which is correct, and click on apply. I want to say that that surface and that surface should be flush. Click on apply, and I need the top surface and this top surface to be flush, and click on apply. Now, although you can't see any of the joints, well, we can correct that up here. We can go to view, and we can say, right, I want to see all of the edges. So now we can see how they actually interlink. Does that make sense? Right. In the previous video, we never attempted getting the tabs onto this one. So let's get that one sorted now then, alright? So I'm going to go and find the part in my folder in here, and I'm looking for Raspberry Pi, which is there, and it is this one, and I click on open. Right. Now then, we've got some tabs to sort out on this one. This will be fun. So we go sketch, and I'm going to use the center rectangle again, 2-point center, clicking on the surface, drag my mouse over the edge until I get a green ball, drag out a rectangle which has got to be 6 wide by height 10. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of this, and I'll explain now in a little minute why. But I'll carry on for the time being, for the purposes of this video. So again, same tools as what we used the first time. Drag it up to the top here, click into place there. I'm going to click here and drag another rectangle down here, and click. Press escape on your keyboard. Select the rectangle in the middle. We don't need that anymore. We don't need that line in there either. I'm going to go and draw a vertical line right through the middle. So this is why I have been using a 2-point center rectangle. It keeps this center point here available to you, so that it allows you to use that mirror tool. It also allows you to use things like rectangular and circular tools as well. And we'll worry about them in later projects, but at the minute, make sure you use the 2-point center rectangle. It makes your life so much easier. Okay, select these two drawing boundaries, click on the mirror line, click on apply, click on done, delete the line that you used as the mirror line, go into 3D model, click on extrude, and we're going to extruded cut, and you're going to delete those 4 areas and press OK. Now, the reason I said I'm not overly happy with this drawing is because of how close these holes are to this edge of the material. It can mean a really weak joint, because that's probably only about 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters. The sides are 3 millimeters and they look much thicker than that. So that's concerning me, because I don't know, it seems as though that surface could be very easily broken. So in your enclosures, maybe it's worth considering extending those out a little bit. on the two sides, all right? Giving yourself that little bit more room to give it a stronger surface, all right? But for the purposes of you learning how to use the software, this is fine. So we click on save. We go into our assembly and we go to assemble and place, and we find that part now. So that is this one, and I click on open, and I'm going to just drop that there. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is exactly the same. Constrain. I need that surface and that surface to be flushed. Click on apply. I need that surface and that surface to be flush, and I need that surface and that surface. Oh, press escape, didn't mean to do that. Click on constrain again, click on the top surface and that top surface, and I want those to be flushed as well. And now we're looking pretty good. So let's see how our PCB fits into this. Let's go place, find our PCB, click on open, and we're just going to drop that sitting there somewhere. Okay. We're going to go constraint and say that I want that surface to be touching off that surface, and let's see what we're looking at from the top here. So looking at it now from the top, it's going to be pretty tight over there, yeah, and very tight over there as well. So barely enough room. In actual fact, if this was real life, it would be too tight. It's perfect on here, but this isn't an ideal world. So you would like to have a little bit of tolerance on either side there, just to be able to maneuver it in and out nice and easily. But for the purposes again of this drawing, that's fine. Click on OK. The next thing we're going to do then is click on this surface and say that I need that to be touching off this inside wall here. Okay. If we zoom out, we should be looking pretty good there, yeah. Click on OK. Now let's move it around. Okay, now we need so this part here has been placed in the wrong direction, hasn't it? We can fix that in a second. So let's say that we want this top part here to be touching off or flush with that part. Okay. Now, there's something not quite right on this back surface here. We need to have a look at that. But so far we're going not too bad. So let's click on apply. Done. Right. Let's delete this side. Delete. Click on it and press delete. Find that part again. This one here. Click open. And we need to orientate it so that that surface there is actually on the inside. So constraint, we click on this surface here, that needs to be touching off there. Click on apply, we then go and say that surface and that surface should be flushed. Click on apply. And we need that surface and that surface to be flushed as well, and apply. Now, I'm looking pretty good. The keen eye will have spotted that there's a slight difference in height there, which is somewhat concerning, but that's okay, we can fix that in a second. Well, we're looking not too bad. All of our components fit pretty good. There's no gaps over on that right hand side. It just looks as though the height here is a little bit too tall for the base of this, or rather too low. but we're looking not too bad. We're not looking too bad. So it looks as though really the drawing of this side is actually 1 millimeter too low. So let's go and get that one sorted. So in here, we go to sketch 1, we right click on sketch 1, go to edit sketch, and we change that dimension from 4 to 5. Now it's pushed everything up. And click on finish sketch. I can go into the assembly one. Let's zoom out, let's roll it around, and let's have a look. Right. So now what you will have noticed is that it has, if I can get clicked onto this surface here, there we go. It has automatically updated, which is the handy thing. One of the advantages of using CAD is you can make subtle amendments, just like what we just done. We changed the height of these by 1 millimeter, and it was very quick, very painless. All right. Now the next part of this is to sort out the lid and the base, and how we put in some tabs to sort those out and to cater for those. Pretty easy. We're getting there. We're picking up all of these skills. It's getting a lot easier. Now you're using the same skills all over and over again. Before we finish the video, file, save, and we're saving this here now as an assembly. So this is going to be enclosure assembly. Okay, press save. Now this dialog box asks you basically, do you want to save any changes to all of these drawings down here? Save every one of them. Okay. Perfect. We're ready to go now for the next video. Well done, you're doing great.